My apologies, I could not make everybody ask the question, just not practical. But coming to Shri 𝗕𝗏𝗴𝗹𝗹 and Shri Rakesh Singh, they could have just come out here, given you a lecture and walked out. But they stood out here and they answered your question. If I were you, I would stand up and clap for them. We need more proactive leaders. Can we all give them a standing ovation? We need leaders who are accountable, who would answer to you, who would say, ask me, tell me your problems. Give a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you for being kind. Please remain seated. Now comes one of the most important discourses, one of the most important keynotes of today. By the way, some of you who could not ask questions, you could always consult Advocate Bina Pillai's office and NLS Legal Aid Society. You could email us. We'll make sure your queries go to the right department. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, a bunch of keys was misplaced on the table outside. If they happen to have money inside the locker, give the keys to me or go and collect it. Once again, somebody lost keys, collect it outside. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. It is my distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 2026, Advocate Bina Pillai. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, she deserves your respect. With over 27 years of experience in the legal profession, Advocate Bina Pillai is widely recognized as one of Karnataka's leading experts in real estate and apartment law. As the founder of Next Legal Services and NLS Legal Aid Society, she successfully represented numerous apartment owners associations, homeowners, and developers in complex legal and regulatory matters. Known for her expertise in apartment governance, associate formation, the Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act, and the real estate dispute resolution, she's played a significant role in promoting legal awareness among apartment communities across the state. A champion of women's rights and access to justice, she is also the recipient of the Service Excellence in Apartment and Real Estate Law Award, the Times Power Women Conclave and Awards 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Advocate Bina Pillai. Let's get a big round of applause. Welcome, Bina.
Thank you so much, Shabir. Good evening to all. Good evening, Shri 𝗕𝗏𝗴𝗹𝗏𝗏. Good evening to Mr. Rakesh Singh, the RERA chairman, Satish Mallya, my dear friend 𝗓𝗏𝗵𝗹𝗶, and good evening to you all. Thank you so much for coming here. The term proprietors. You know the meaning of proprietors? Know your property. You have to have some basic understanding about the apartment law. That is the reason we have started this initiative. 2 years ago, we had proprietors number 1, in which we have covered the apartment owner's rights and a lot of things, obligations of the builder. Probably some of, you might have appeared for that. Now, there is a serious issue which is going on in the apartment. In the sense, as our RERA chairman has mentioned, once the project is completed, there is a huge vacuum, according to me. We have real regulations till that time. We have RERA regulations, we have planning authorities rules, we have BDA rules, we have a lot of things. But after the completion of the project, what happens? The builders, to whom the builder has to hand over the project, as Madam has pointed out, many people are not paying the maintenance. What should we do? I have a client, in that it's a joint development agreement, where the developers share around 100 units are there. Builder has completed the project, occupancy is done, builder has also formed an association. But this 100 units, he kept it in his hand and he is not ready to pay the maintenance. What can we do? These kinds of issues are there in every apartment. So, because I know that this is a very boring subject, a small example I want to show, and on that basis I wanted to explain everything related to apartment law. The snake in the parking lot. See, a big cobra. It was there in the parking lot. It was hidden in a unused materials which was dumped in the parking lot. Can you show that slide? The second slide which is showing. Yes. This car parking area, the owner has dumped all these materials. A snake took shelter under that. A resident died. Who is responsible for that? Can you tell me who is responsible? Resident only? Builder has moved out of the property. You cannot blame the builder. Then, association is also there. Why? Association is the custodian of the property. Custodian in the sense they have an obligation to maintain and manage the property. So if the association is not maintaining the property, a kind of liability, we can call it as either vicarious liability or some other tortious liability, like, we can sue the builder the association against the civil negligence as well as criminal negligence. Here a person died. So both these are there. So what I am trying to say in the sense, this program we are focusing about the association governance, association formation. The $1 million question here is under which statute we have to form an association, even though we have a specific statute, that is Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act. There are many societies which is formed under the Societies Registration Act. Under the Societies Registration Act, and there are many societies under the Karnataka Cooperative Societies Act. The objectives of these two, just carefully listen to these points. The objectives of these two statutes are totally different. Every statute has an objective clause. PF, for example, PF Act, it has an objective clause. It is meant for Provident Fund. Companies Act, it is dealing with companies. Likewise, Societies Act, it deals with what? Charitable, scientific and literary societies. You cannot form an association for maintaining and managing a property under the Societies Registration Act. The court has cancelled many societies. Even then, unfortunately, the societies registrar continued to register the societies. Now, there is a direction to the societies registrar, a collective direction not to register any apartment owners association under the Societies Registration Act. You can form an NGO under that. Okay. Then, the second one is what? Cooperative Societies Act. I'll stop for a moment. Oh, okay, sorry. The second one is the Cooperative Societies Act. You know that the objective of cooperative society is to promote the cooperative movement in this country. Your property is a private property. You are paying money to the builder. The builder, whoever it is, now brigade is here, I can give an example. You are paying directly the money to the builder. There is no subsidy from the government, you are paying tax and you are paying a lot of things, right? So purely it is a private property, there is no need of bringing any cooperative societies, because the purpose behind the cooperative society is to promote this cooperative movement as well as public purpose. In a private property, there is no need of bringing any cooperative society. I have seen many cooperative societies bylaw. There is an objective clause in that bylaw which says that the property in the sense the project, the entire project land has to be conveyed in favor of the society. Then who you will be? Your property is transferring to a cooperative society. This cooperative society has it has a special entity. It is considered as a separate person sitting next to you. So if you transfer your property to the cooperative society, what will happen? Your right over the property will be gone, and the cooperative society will become the owner of your property. There was a direction to one of the project builder to transfer the project land to the cooperative society. Then the builder said, I will cancel the sale deeds, whatever I have executed in favor of my apartment owners, because I cannot simultaneously convey the property or the project to same persons. I mean, parallelly to two different entities. One is to an individual and the other one is to a cooperative society. So these kinds of issues are happening here. The code has clearly mentioned that in an apartment, you have to form an association under the Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act. If you are very much interested, I can give you the citation also, Writ Appeal 564/2024. In a residential apartment, you have to form an association under the Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act because it is a specific statute dealing with your property. In the Cooperative Societies Act or in the Societies Act, you cannot find out any clauses, any provisions dealing with the property. This is one point which I wanted to tell. And the second point is related to UDS. There is a misconception going on here. The project land has to be conveyed to the association. You are getting UDS along with the unit. You are not only getting a building or an apartment unit because it is constructed on the land, it is not on air. So the builder will be giving you a small piece of land proportionate to what? The built-up area which you are entitled. So you are getting the apartment unit along with the piece of land. That piece of land is the undivided share. So there is not even an inch left after the project is completed for the developer to convey to any other person or convey to any other association. So please don't approach the court or to RERA or wherever it is saying that my project land is still with the landowner or with the builder. It has to be transferred to the association. It is a misconception. Your land is with you. That land is given to you by the builder in small pieces. It is known as UDS. The difference between an independent property and that piece of land is that it cannot be divided. Because, as I'm just borrowing from Mr. 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗏, it is a collective unit which everyone is jointly owning, right? So that concept we have to see. The second proprietors I thought of, calling with this particular important issue. Everyone is coming and saying that my land is not conveyed. My land is not given to the association after having a sale deed in their hand. If you just check it in your sale deed, last page there is a schedule of the property. The first schedule will be Schedule A. Schedule A contains the entire project land. Schedule B is your undivided share, probably in percentage wise or square feet basis. And Schedule C is your apartment. So this is one thing which I want to tell you. Please don't do that. Don't convey any of your project land to cooperative societies or any other societies. We have a specific statute, that is Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act. Please go ahead with forming an association under Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act. In the Google form, we have also asked people to send some queries. The most of the queries we have received related to Apartment Owners Association. As he has pointed out, if you have a proper association with a proper bylaw, bylaw is the constitution, that is the main document where it prescribes the rules and regulations of that particular apartment complex. You have to follow that. There is absolutely nothing, ambiguous here. Bylaw says that, you have to keep a CCTV, keep a CCTV. In case if the bylaw says and you don't have a CCTV, what happens? If any theft happens, then the association will be responsible. The snake example, we can go back to that example. In that example, as I said, if the resident died by getting a snake bite, the association is responsible. If someone is drowned in a swimming pool, vicariously it will come back. Because of the negligence of the association, if anything happens, they will be responsible. There are fire and safety equipment. If it is sold, who will be responsible? Finally, the responsibility comes back to the association. So how the associations can overcome all these things? They can be vigilant. They have to follow certain things. They have to ensure that systems are working proper. If any financial issue is there, who will be responsible ultimately? The apartment owners. The Apartment Owners Association. How to overcome that? You have to have a system for proper auditing. And if you have done all these things and any mishap happened, the presumption is that it is not yours. It is the act of God. You are safe. In one of my clients' apartment, the lift fell down. There is a rope or something which is connecting the lift, right? So that one is broken. The person is crushed inside the lift and he is paralyzed. Who is responsible? The police came and registered FIR against the apartment owners. Fortunately, they have a proper association. They have formed under the Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act 1972. Just imagine if it is a society, then your association is also not legal. Then what happens? Every individuals who is inside that committee, they will be personally liable for this. So be conscious about all these things. And you have to have a proper body for maintaining and managing the association. Just custody of the property, when you take it, there are a lot of responsibilities are coming to you that the association has to understand. Otherwise, the civil negligence as well as criminal negligence will pop up. See, this vacuum I said, right, project completion, we have regulations. After the project completion, what happens? We have only one specific statute which says that you can form an association. And according to me, many people are saying that the Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act is not a good act, or there are loopholes or something. But I don't agree with that. It's a 50-year-old act. One competent authority is not appointed by the government. That doesn't mean that the act is weak. According to me, competent authority is not required. If a competent authority is there, your job will be double. First, you have to go to them. Then only you can come back to court. So if you directly go to High Court will say that no, there are certain alternative mechanism. Why can't you go there? Then come back. They will take another 2 years. So these will be delayed. Then one other problems which people are pointing out that there is no registration certificate. Do you have a registration certificate when you purchase the property? Do you have a registration certificate which says that you are the owner of apartment number 101? How will you find out that? Your sale deed, on the back side, there is an endorsement from the registrar. It says that this particular property is registered in your name. That number you will be using as what? Your registration number of the property. Likewise, under the Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act, there is a document called Deed of Declaration. Since it is connected to the property, the makers of statute, according to me, very carefully thought about this and made it as a mandatory document to be registered before the sub-registrar, the property registrar. And this deed of declaration is a collective document stating about the property, the entire project. Your sale deed is only talking about what? Your property. But this deed of declaration is describing about the entire project. So you can take it as a reference point, right? And the Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act. There are provisions for bylaw. Bylaw, how to draft a bylaw? What are the provisions to be included in the bylaw? What is proxy? What is quorum? People are coming and asking questions even in the Google form also, a lot of things are there. But you know, the statute is very clear. Section 16, if you read it, you can understand that. How to draft a bylaw? Probably a little weaker one. You can strengthen it. A format is also being given. So, statutes are there. People are not utilizing it. They are just going ahead with something else without having basic knowledge about the property. The property is the one which you are investing more, right? It is the biggest investment in your life. For an apartment, you will be investing around 2 crore, 3 crore or whatever it is. And if you are not aware of the basic laws related to apartment or property, I think it is time for you to have a little knowledge. I'm not saying that the entire things you have to study, as he pointed out. I will be jobless. But the basic things at least. People are coming here by saying that, you know, the sale agreement is there. What is the need of sale deed? They are not understanding the difference between sale agreement and sale deed. What is UDS? What is occupancy certificate? What is the importance of occupancy certificate? What is khata? People are thinking that khata is the title document. It is not the title document. Your sale deed is your parent document. Okay, the sale deed says that you are the owner of the property. If there is any delay in that, then you have to be worried about that. Okay, so the general things, it is time for us to sit together and to understand it. We have learned a lot about sin theta, cos theta and all those things in schools. But unfortunately, you know, we didn't get a chance to learn constitution or the basic laws. I think it has to be considered by the government. Okay. So these are some basic things. I know that this is a very boring subject. If you have any questions or anything, see, one point which I wanted to emphasize, I repeat it again, that your negligence, then the vicarious liability. Vicarious liability says that master is responsible for the servants thing. That is the usual word they are using. It's an old concept. This vicarious liability, when it comes, you are an interesting facilitator or a security agency. And that security agency has certain responsibilities. He has a responsibility to pay the Minimum Wages Act. He has a responsibility to pay the PF. He has a responsibility to pay the ESI. And the Post Act, if more than, 10 female employees are there. All these are his responsibility. And in case if he is not doing this, who will be responsible? Association. Association means who? You all together are the association. This is another misconception. Association doesn't mean that the executive committee members. Association means you all together. Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act has very beautifully mentioned that. Association means all the apartment owners join together. And certain people taking responsibility on a particular time period is the executive committee. And this executive committee has to act on the basis of bylaw. Bylaw is a Bible where they can refer. If the bylaw has to be amended, the general body, you can call it. And the general body is the supreme body, not your executive committee. If the general body says no, you can't do anything. If the general body says yes, with majority, you can go ahead. Okay. So if any doubts or anything, we can, go ahead with that. Many people have sent in Google form. So from one apartment, they are asking BWSSB related issues. The BWSSB chairman has had agreed to come, but I think some reconstitution happened after the, that recently. So because of that, I think the chairman itself is changed. So he didn't come. I'm so sorry for that. We can coordinate with them again. So his doubt in the sense, they had already paid for the entire phase. Like someone has pointed out that, there are 10 towers and 2-3 towers were not completed. In this apartment also, these were the issue. 2-3 towers were not completed. Sorry, I think I can continue. I'm so sorry. I know that your time is very precious. Okay, I'm just explaining to them. Thank you, sir. So in this, what happened in the sense,
This session is in progress. It is considered to be very disrespectful. Kindly remain seated. Thank you so much. The session is in progress. Ma'am.
Okay. So now you got a very good interaction with Mr. 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗧 and the chairman of RERA. Even they have also promised that, they are ready to sit with you. Probably we can coordinate for, getting some answers from them directly without much introduction. I know that you will be very impatient. Then this particular issue, actually, just imagine there are, as per the plan, 10 towers. When 7 towers were completed, then BWSSB connection is given. Then another 2 towers on progress. But the BW department came and disconnected by saying that the deposit towards the other 2 towers were not paid. So ultimately, the BWSSB department has removed the connection. They had made the payment to the builder. The builder has paid a portion of it. That's what I believe. See, this one important thing in the sense, these kind of connections, they need not have to pay it in advance. It will come in stage-wise. 30% initially, 60% initially. The second phase, like that. Probably the builder might have given the 2 installments, the next installments they might not have paid. In such situation, BWSSB or BESCOM or whoever it is, they will come and disconnect it. So here also that is what happened. Now water is the basic amenity, you know that we need water. So without water, now they are struggling. What should we do? They are depending on some commercial options. No water connection, can we address the issue? That is what they are asking. The only option in front of me is to approach the court. We have guided them. We will guide them. And one thing which you have to take it from this in the sense, the Karnataka Ownership Flats Regulation Act as well as RERA says that if you pay for BWSSB, the builder has to deposit this to an account which is created for BWSSB. He cannot utilize this fund for something else and come back by saying that you don't have this. So this is the only thing which you can take it from here. And the only option in front of us, this particular client, is to approach the court. Probably we can also coordinate with the BWSSB department and to get some solution for that. Yeah, is there any other queries? A lot of queries were there. All those things were connected with association formation, please. So I think almost I had also included. Please, sir.
Yes. She's pointed out to you. You could step forward, collect the mic from my hands, and you could ask your question.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
So, I'm from 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗃. I am the Vice President of the Management Committee there. With all due respect to the KAOA Act, the one problem which we are facing is that a lot of residents are questioning the competency and authenticity of the KAOA Act. A lot of litigants, as per legal term, have come on to saying that, please show the registration certificate. Even if it's KAOA, is it the right competent authority? That's question number one. They have approached the court, and as you rightly pointed out, if there are so many mechanisms in place already, then why is the court accepting the cases? We have so many acts which is actually in favor of the right resident or the correct behavioral resident, but then if you're following everything, then still there are cases on us. So I'm not able to understand if KAOA is the right act or not. If it is, then I can go back to my general body and say that, hey, our society is registered correctly. But I think we are facing a lot. I don't know if this problem is faced by others, but this is becoming a regular notion in our society at least. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
This issue can be resolved by the government with a single notification. That is what I believe. They have enacted a statute. They are the one who has enacted. For every statute enactment, a lot of money is also required. Then, in the statute, it is very clearly mentioned that it is a specific beneficial statute for apartment. We don't have any other statute for apartments in Karnataka, at least I can say. So when you have a statute, that is what I said, that example of provident fund or company. You cannot go and register your company under some other act.
No, it's under KAOA only because
No, I'm just saying that. I'm just giving you an example. What is the difference between a specific statute and a general statute?
Right.
Specific statute is for that specific purposes which is mentioned in the act. What is the specific purpose mentioned in the act? The act has provided a lot of things related to apartment maintenance, how to maintain the apartment, how to manage the apartment, how your bylaw should be drafted. Everything is mentioned in that act. So people are not following it and they are thinking that the registration certificate is the biggest one. That is the reason I told you. Do you have a registration certificate which says that your apartment is such and such?
Yes.
You don't have. Do you have that? This is my apartment's registration certificate. But your apartment is registered. What is the evidence of that? On the sale deed, if you check it on the back side, there is an endorsement from the registering authority with a number. So Section 60 of the Registration Act has mentioned that when the registration is complete, when this endorsement is given, the registration is complete. There is no need of a certificate. If I can give you one other example. Do you have a certificate saying that, what is your name?
Deepak.
Deepak. Do you have a certificate saying that your name is Deepak?
I do. I have a lot of certificates.
A lot of connected things are there.
Yeah.
Birth certificate, what is the importance? Your birth date, not your name.
Yeah.
Your passport, what's the importance?
Nationality.
Yes, you are the citizen of India or wherever it is. Now the Aadhaar card is a recognized identity, but you don't have a certificate which specifically says that I certify that this is Mr. Rakesh, etc. It is not there. So registration certificate is not the biggest thing. Whether it is registered or not.
It is.
Registration means endorsement by the registering authority. The Act has mentioned that who is the registering authority? It is the property registrar, Section 13. See, the Act has clearly mentioned all this. How to register, where to register, how to draft it. How many statutes are like that with the model bylaw also? But even then, there are certain, advocates of cooperative society. And I'm so sorry to say that we can see maximum corruption in cooperative societies. Am I right? Wherever you have taken. I'm from Kerala. This urban banks and, even in Karnataka, crores of. Because only 20 members are required for creating a cooperative society. Now there are huge townships. Just imagine 20 random members. They just created a cooperative society with an objective of saying that the project land has to be conveyed to them. Right. What happens? The word convey is, the meaning of that sale. People are randomly using it. Convey, deemed conveyance, a lot of things. So that is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Once you get your sale deed in your favor, you are safe.
Yeah.
You are the owner of that property. The next thing is what? It's a collective ownership. For that we need someone for maintaining the property.
True.
Right? Yeah. Karta or whatever we can call in the joint family. Just imagine, hypothetically I'm saying, this Karta is the committee. But in that family, we all should be a member, right? My property is also there, so I should also be a member.
Right.
Random 20 members cannot create a cooperative society and ask me to follow their rules and regulations, where there are no rules and regulations related to the properties.
But in reality, that's happening, ma'am. And the problem is that...
I understood.
And the problem is we are not able to put punitive action because they have a high court order. So I know. I don't want to make it conversational, but the larger problem statement which I wanted to highlight is we have an act, it is enforced, it is registered, but still there are loopholes. And because of 20-25 individuals, 850 residents have to suffer. That's a larger point I just wanted to land with you. And just a little bit on the lighter side, if you can have a lot of people in your team to visit societies and educate them, I think it will be doing wonders. Because people have to be educated on this to make an act. Because we have, sorry to use that word, a lot of unparliamentary people coming into apartment associations, and they pass a bylaw which eats up the society for years to come. That is the major problem. So I think the awareness training program to educate people, youngsters coming in, I'm happy to join the MC. I'm 30 years old. People should come in, volunteer, and it's not a thankless job. It's a commitment I'm making for 2 years. I want to live in that society and give my kid the best facilities that way. So I feel that should be the messaging that I think from your team should land. Thank you so much.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, so you can write your questions. Can we take a short break? They have some plans for that, so that. We'll be taking it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short break and we'll come back after the break for the Q&A.
I'll come back.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause. Advocate Bina Pillai. Ladies and gentlemen,